Bitcoin is spiking at 68,000 and above. We're going up, guys. Let's stay to the top. And we're gonna look at today the RSI because I showed a video earlier that I couldn't put all this content in my head in the same video. I wanted to cut it off, so make it in two pieces so easier to digest of what is the so much important thing I wanted to say, and I couldn't just not publish that second part. Okay, so this is very important to understand and to know, especially in the period of this bull run right here. So we're gonna look at the RSI. We're gonna look at the mirror multiple. Okay, that's a very important signal. Okay, um, and then we're gonna look at go over some news. We just went over some news, and I'm gonna explain more and deeper over those. So just be patient and just sit back and relax. We're gonna have a good time. No, so we went over the U.S. national debt. Okay, we know this is a problem. This is a very big problem, and they just added 500 billion. That's half a trillion dollars in the past couple weeks. Okay, just in the past few weeks. That's not like a month. Okay, that's just few weeks ago. Okay, they just added that um in the debt they have. Okay. So now how they do that, right? Well, they just issue new bond, and that has to go to the bond market. Okay, so 10-year yield. So they issue that money to the bond market, and then the investors, right, from other nation state, other investors in the country, the pension funds and investors who has obligation to invest in those treasuries buy those funds, buy that debt they issue. They issue, let's say $1 trillion, and then they go to the market. They have issuance, and then they say, here's your rate, and then the people will go and say, okay, well, I'm gonna take your 4.08% for the next 10 years. Okay, and then they get the cash and they go do what they want to do for election spending and everything else. Now we're gonna go over what's happened next. Okay, so because the debt is going up, and how this is correlating to Bitcoin, right, to the Bitcoin price. Okay, and this is important, right? This is important. We have to understand. We have to be um financial literate. We have to uh know what's up. We have to know what's up to really understand what's going on. Even if we understand Bitcoin, it's important to understand the market, right? Because it's not enough to just focus on 21 million hard cap, and like, because in those big swings, right, you could navigate them like better, right? Because we all have our life to manage. We have finances. We have like a lot of expensive expenses to do, and then we can't just just ignore the fact that Bitcoin go so up and down, massive spike, massive drops, and all that, right? So that's not to say you have to sell and look for the peak and the downs and the bottoms. No, it's just like to manage your your risk profile. Right? Even if you 100% Bitcoin, if even if you 50% Bitcoin, it's important to understand this. So first of all, we're gonna look at the RSI. RSI for Bitcoin is about 66, right? So this is the average supposed to be about 70, right? So over like every year that's normal. So you still below average, still not in the big bull run yet. And then the peak would be somewhere in the 90s, right? 90s would be like really peak, really a danger zone in terms of like peak. We can have a very massive drop, and In the previous video, I explained why you have these drops, and I explained the correlation to the Fed rate cut and rate hike. In every market, you have to always look at the trend, okay? The trend, where the money is coming from, and you have to understand the Fed, because the Fed still control the majority of the public, of the market, especially, right? The market perception is the one number one thing, most important thing. Think about this, right? In the past, right? In the past, like couple years, it was all about bad like news, and regardless, Bitcoin still went up 3x. Okay, regardless, right? It went from 16,000 from the bottom in 20 in December 2022 or January 2023, all the way up to 68,000 right now. Okay, so this is not a luck. This is just the thesis of the Bitcoin network strength and the benefit and all the um, advantages Bitcoin gives you over the dollar. Okay? Most people don't understand that the dollar is crashing. Right? They don't understand that there's a crisis, right? Because they want to keep the population um, uninformed about it. Like think about it. Let's say if you have if you had control over the Fed, right? And you know the house is under fire, would you just run around and say the house is under fire and then everybody get out and get their stuff out to get the house like burning faster? No, you just keep it secret and then you get yourself out, you get your family out, you get all your families, all your friends out, your banks, your all your investors out, and then you announce it. Okay, so it's a secret thing going on, and this is why, like, you see the massive spike in debt, right? And this is predicted to be over to be around 40 trillion in the next year. Right? This is already all almost. This is almost 36 trillion. By the end of the year, we're probably gonna end at 35.9 trillion dollars at least, right? 35 or maybe 36 trillion by the end of the year. Okay, every year, every quarter, every 3 months, right? Every 3 months we go over, we go about like $1 trillion every 3 months, right? So that's that's a rate right now, okay? Unless if they accelerate next year. So by next year we're gonna end up with another 4 trillion. That would be at $40 trillion of debt. Okay, you put on that the Fed. If the Fed cut rate, let's say let's say they bring it to the top of this. Let's say they bring rate to 2.4%. Okay, at 2.4%, at $40 trillion in debt, right? The rate, the interest in the debt would still be like around a trillion or close to a trillion. Plus, they're gonna have to deal with all those, you know, like obligations they have to satisfy, right? All those pensions, right? All those Medicare, Medicaid they have to spend. Okay, so they have to spend so much money. It's crazy. Right? That's 40 trillion plus a trillion of interest, if not more, plus another 5 or 6 trillion, right? That's another 40, 46 or 47 trillion by 2027, right? 2027, 46, 47 trillion, and then by 2028, the next Bitcoin halving, right? You're gonna have like 50 trillion dollars in debt. Okay, at $50 trillion in debt. Okay, I want you to think about this, right? Right now we are at 35.7. When you are at 50 trillion, right? In 2028, that's 4 years from now. 2027, 28. Like, you gotta think there, right? Is that thing really like legitimate anymore, it's people gonna think different about the dollar, right? They're gonna see the what we see, we Bitcoiners, right? So I don't want to stay too long on this. We have the demand going up for Bitcoin. We have the SEC approval for futures. Well, they're gonna trade it. They're gonna bring more volume and short and long. It doesn't matter. It's good for Bitcoin because you know why? Because well, those shorts gonna have to cover their they have to cover their obligations if they too long and then they got a short squeeze. They have to pay a cover. If they have a long squeeze, they have to cover. So it's all up to them. And then we have this unrealized losses for the bank, right? And yeah, so again, guys, and then we have more inflow and more inflows for the ETF. That's over 20 billion right now. I think it's gonna be maybe at least maybe 30 billion by the end of the year, right? So it's amazing. Um, a lot of things going on. The changes, exchanges are bleeding Bitcoin. That's good. Less Bitcoin available, and then we have the Mayer multiple. That's very very important, guys. Okay, this is what predicting the top. Like not, I wouldn't, I shouldn't say the top of the market, but that's kind of predict the the this chart moves with the moving average of Bitcoin, right? So it's a moving average, right? It's if the Bitcoin price is higher than the 200-day moving average, so it's if it's so much higher, right? Then you will see the peak, you will see it top that green line, right? You top that green line and it's going higher, right? If it's too low, you would see it goes all the way down below one, right? This is one. It's gonna go all the way down below one. Right now we are at 1.08. Okay, so the average over the long term over the whole history of Bitcoin is 1.31. So 1.08. So the average is around here, right? So we are way below, still very very undervalued right now. That doesn't mean we can't go down, but it's just like really really undervalued. Um, Amazing, amazing. I'm gonna go over these charts once in a while for you guys to keep you updated during the bull run. And again, like look at the cycles, right? Pay attention to the Fed rate hike and rate cuts. You have to pay attention because you have to pay attention because I know it's bad. I know it's a pain to listen to what they're saying all the time, but it's important to be aware of the cycle, the when the cycle starts and then when the cycle stops. Okay, like from 2017, from the end of 2017, you should have known like when the cycle is changing. Right, the cycle was see it was changing. The cycle was changing. Everybody was ignoring the fact that it was changing, but everybody thought Bitcoin was going up forever, right? 2017, 2018, but they keep buying it, right? But the normies don't understand the cycle, right? It's changing, right? So when they are raising rate, right, you have to be very cautious when they stop, and then when they stop, that's usually the bottom, the, the bottom of the market, and they are about Bitcoin is about to skyrocket again, and then when they are cutting rate, that's the bull, like bull market. That's when everybody go crazy. They start buying meme coin. They start buying like NFTs. They start putting money everywhere. Anything that's not money becomes money because there's too much money on the market. Okay, so this is where everybody go crazy. Everybody's calling you, talking like this is when this happened, and then they stop cutting rate. When they stop cutting rate, this is when you know this is still, you still have this these massive things, like all this craziness going on, right? So you have this craziness going on over here, see, all the way 2021, and then when they start raising again, then the cycle repeat. Okay, so it doesn't really predict exactly date by date, but it's really a good, and it gives you an idea, right, of what the trend is going, right? So this is the chart, the Bitcoin chart over here. So, and most people don't understand, like most of the gain happen quick, and the losses happen quick. Okay, so you go from the about September 2020, by by March 2021, you are at the top. Okay, from September 2020, September, October, let's say 6 months, right? You are at the top. Okay, and then from there, and then you get from the top, second top, from second top in October 2021, right? And then in November, somewhere November 2022, you're at the bottom, right? Then from November 2022 to March 2020 2024, you're already up again. You see, so it's a it's a function of time, and up and down, right? If you're here for the long term, you don't really have to care about those things. If you need to, like, measure, let's say you want to do for some short term trade, in and out, just to, pay some debt, right? You're gonna pay attention to those things. So I make those videos. I hope you enjoy them. This was Buy Cover. I'll see you again. I hope you enjoy this and have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.